Good afternoon. Welcome to Lancaster. We're so proud to be here today with you. You know, it was just down the street that the race for space started about 60 years ago. It was here that that race started. It was 14 months ago that eSolar came to us and said they wanted to build what was truly a technological marvel. Never been done before. We didn't have the permitting process for it. We didn't have the codes for it. And they wanted to build it here. And as a result of the city staff, and I'd like the city staff to stand up, because what they've done is truly remarkable. I mean, it was an enormous task. We're in the desert. You know, those things need to be cooled with water. You know, it's a problem there. Enormous task. How do we create a situation where not only this plant works, but that we can eventually have mirrors as far as the eye can see? So they had these huge obstacles, and guess how we're going to do it? We're going to do it with reclaimed water. And not only are we going to do it with reclaimed water, that reclaimed water will recharge the aquifer, and we will have more water as a result. I mean, 14 months ago, nobody was even thinking of these ideas, and it was eSolar and the city staff sitting together and deciding to just use creative genius to overcome each one of these obstacles. You know, the state of California is not the best place in the world to build innovative projects. It used to be, but it's not so great of a place today. Constant bureaucratic obstacles get in the way. It's little stuff like when those boilers hit the border. Now, you know, if you install a project like this for 3 weeks, that's a huge amount of money. You know, money costs money. The interest rates are enormous. The boilers hit the border of California, and they say, well, it takes 3 weeks to get a permit. 3 weeks to get a permit to bring those boilers the next 4 hours to get here. And it was George Rudder that we called and said, George, stand up, would you? George, we can't wait 3 weeks. And George was able to get the governor on the phone, and 24 hours later, those boilers were back on the highway. And one episode after another like that, where people stood up. Mike Antonovich's office got together with the CEO for the county and appointed a project director to get through the red tape to make this thing a reality. Right now, there are about 40 projects pending approval in the state of California. Maybe 3 or 4 of them will be built, and the reason they won't be built is because of bureaucratic obstacles. The fact that the city staff, working together with the county and the state, were able to overcome these is a testament to what we can really do when we all come together. You know, next year, 2010, is the year that the demand for oil exceeds production of oil. It's a pivotal point in the history of the world. Also, last year was the first, in the United States, 42% of all new energy producing facilities were wind power. That's up from 2% just 5 years before that. We are in a temporal place, that is perfect for this type of technology, because people are finally beginning to recognize the severity of the problem. Every one of us in this room, barring some terrible disease or accident, unfortunately are going to live to see a Katrina where the waters do not recede. We know that's going to happen. We all know that for a certainty. That is the severity of the problem we are facing with global warming. And the reason for that problem is coal energy. It's that simple. We should never build another coal-fired plant again. If coal were taxed in the amount of damage they cause and the amount that we will eventually pay, it is in the trillions and trillions of dollars. We would not need to build another coal-fired plant because of this technology right out here. Not too long ago, I was with a group of people playing golf, and we were talking about if we could have dinner with anybody in the world we wanted to. Anybody in the world. And we got to pick their brain, who would it be? And so we took a vote, and I lost. Bill Clinton won. Interestingly enough, one of the people in the group was in the Clinton White House administration, and he said he could make that happen, but it would cost $250,000. That's an expensive dinner. What I wanted is I wanted to have dinner with the smartest person in the world who was actually doing something to solve the world's problems. You know, that dream came true 2 years later. My wife and I had dinner with Bill Gross and Marcia Goodstein. I'm sorry, Marcia. You know, I almost made it through without a mistake. We had that dinner with Bill and Marcia, and they truly are the smartest people we had ever met. I mean, we came away from that dinner with so many ideas. My wife redesigned the office. We're actually redesigning the physical plant. I mean, it was an incredible experience. But I got to know a little bit about Bill. Can you imagine at 15 years old, 35 years ago, starting Solar Devices, Inc. at 15? I mean, the foresight, the vision, and the courage to do that. He was telling me how we didn't have an internet back then. You didn't get to go on Google and type in energy-saving devices. He had to get on his bicycle and take his bicycle down to the county library to do it. The dedication and commitment at 15, and then to develop a company that pays his way through Caltech at 15 years old. This is really a smart guy. Remember the internet when it was not profitable? Remember we had the World Wide Web? It was just a couple years ago. Everybody says this is truly amazing, but how are you going to make any money at it? It was Bill Gross who discovered how to make money with pay-per-click. I mean, the vision of this guy is truly astonishing. And I think it's appropriate that today we start the race to save the planet, because that's really what that technology represents. And I think it's appropriate that it's Bill Gross that starts the race. The reason it's appropriate because I think with him leading the race, we will win that race. Thank you.